The Australian All-Star Cheerleading Federation, which we put together about 17 years ago because we saw the need for the sport. We brought in from the USA, who have been doing cheerleading for over 100 years. We brought in some really extensive education through the AASCF. So AASCF, the Australian All-Star Cheerleading Federation, became a vehicle for educating coaches, for educating judges. We created scoring systems. We developed championships that were similar to or in line with the way they were run in America, but we've put our own slant to it. And we've basically tried to encompass everything that is necessary for the sport: equipment, safety training. We've just tried to tick all the boxes needed in order to be able to grow the sport successfully in the country.
AASCF rates as probably one of the top 3 companies in the world. It includes the companies in the U.S. AASCF again has one of the largest nationals, if not the largest national competition in the world. Now, in America, there's some of the 2 other large ones are All-Star only, so this has a little bit mixture of other things involved in it. But still, without AASCF, you basically wouldn't have this type of cheerleading in Australia. Being the biggest and largest organization here in Australia, they are the driving force, not only with just cheerleading in general, but the aspects of cheerleading like safety and progressions to keep the kids safe when they're doing all this stuff.
Why All-Star Cheerleading and All-Star Dance is a really great sport for our youth, and I think it's really important for our youth in this day and age, is it's for everyone. You don't need to be a stereotype. A lot of it is stereotype. If you want to do a certain sport, you have to look a certain way, you have to be a certain shape, you have to have a certain body, you have to eat a certain way. But cheerleading, particularly cheerleading, but also All-Star Dance, it's about you being the best of who you are in your body. So you can shine, you don't need to change. No one's going to say to you, yeah, no, you're too skinny, we can't use you. You're too short, we can't use you. Everyone has a role and everyone will shine within their team. And the team becomes almost like a second family. The friendships that are formed are just wonderful, and I think it's a really great sport for our youth moving forwards.
971, let's hear it for ZSA Cheer Firecats!
I'm Tasman Aspinall. I'm 24 years old. I go to RMIT and I'm a back bass.
What's the best part of cheerleading?
Definitely the community. It's in the name, cheerleaders, so everyone's like cheery and happy, and yeah. This is actually my first semester, so first time doing it, and I'm in the advanced somehow.
How did you get involved with the sport?
Just interest. Like I was walking around, then like at O Week, and then someone just approached and said, "Hey, do you want to join cheerleading?" I was like, why not? So yeah, I used to do drama and stuff at school, so I love performance. So yeah.
Probably one of my favourite things I think about All-Star Cheer is how inclusive it is. Like for ages, ability, definitely like body sizes and shapes. I think it's probably one of the best competitive sports that uses everyone. There's no particular body shape that's needed or that's even preferred. So I think that's probably my absolute favourite thing about All-Star Cheer.
In my opinion, gender equality. We have girls and boys of the same age, similar skill level, so the whole concept of boys being stronger than girls doesn't really exist in our sport at all. We have, tiny teams that we have under 6-year-olds, and then we have adult teams where most of the team members are parents, and then everything in between.
It's another avenue to get some kids off the street and into a gym in a safe environment and being fit and healthy and really fit. So some of my kids are a lot fitter than some of the other sports teams that I see that get a little bit more recognition than what we do.
My name is Malik Hinton. I am 24 years old. I'm from the States. I'm not actually from Australia, and I am a back spot.
I am Rogan Beard. I am 19 years old, and I'm from South Australia.
I was a football player for about 6 years, and I transitioned over once I wanted to start doing tumbling. I fell in love with tumbling, and I was introduced to cheerleading, and from there it was it just went on, and I loved it.
I used to play Aussie Rules, and then my sister got me to come to a friend's come and try night, and that was about 6 years ago, so I just got stuck with it. I just loved it.
AASCF actually allows another important aspect, like allowing adult dancers to dance still in the open categories. In a studio background, by the time you're 18, you're either going for a professional gig or you stop dancing. There's nowhere for you to go, which essentially is why we started our studio, because I wanted to keep dancing, and it grows from that, and AASCF provides that. So we've got a number of adult dancers here having an amazing time, achieving things that they never thought they could achieve, and they never did achieve whilst they were younger. So they're still getting those great experiences. Our youth are getting to experience such an amazing team bonding, kind of trip with their friends whilst achieving some amazing results, and seeing the level of competition, which they will then go back home and talk about for the whole next year until they come again. So we're having a ball here. We've got heaps of teams here this year of all levels, and that's the other thing. We don't just have our strongest dancers. We've got our intermediate dancers here as well, all competing and doing really well, and it's an experience for everyone.
There's a style of cheerleading that we do see out there, and it's game cheerleading, sideline cheerleading, which is for sporting events, and they're predominantly not necessarily cheerleaders per se, but a lot of them are model dancers, and they're great marketing for the product, which is the professional sport, and they dance. They might have some cheer squads doing some big baskets and pyramids, but it's good entertainment value, and it's a little bit different to competitive completely different to competitive cheerleading. Competitive all-star cheerleading, as well as competitive all-star dance, is they're cheerleading for themselves, not for a team. They're dancing for their own club. They're not dancing for a team. They're basically athletes that train extensive hours within their skill sets to compete extensively. They're not performing as a show. They're performing to compete.
23 years old and I'm a slide base.
What is the best part of cheerleading?
Just meeting incredible people and having so many amazing athletes to look up to, because there's amazing athletes in the sport, and it's just awesome to get to mingle with so many people and meet new people.
I come from a dance studio Stedford background, so I've grown up competing in a Stedfords where the atmosphere is, I guess, not as welcoming, super competitive amongst different dancers and different clubs, whereas in AASCF it's a complete different setup. Everybody feels welcome, everybody feels important. You know, the experience that they provide our dancers is rewarding, and it allows for, I guess, different levels of progression, which is really important in dance, and it allows everybody to feel valued and important throughout those progressions as well.
Like you could fall and no one would hear.
How important are nationals to you and your club?
Very important. The sport in New Zealand is very small. The competitions in New Zealand are very small. So to have an event of this size with so many world judges just across the ditch is very, very good for us. It helps us because normally to get an experience like this, we have to travel to USA for our kids to continue to grow and develop in the sporting careers. So for us to be able to come here, it's obviously a financial benefit. And also it does help us develop and further grow our teams and our athletes. So very important.
This team is from Shanghai. For this team, it's their very first time to coming here in Australia for the competition. They're super excited, and especially seeing so many great teams competing together here, especially throughout the weekend. They're very, very excited. So we have about 40 national competitions going on throughout the whole season in China, organized by Chinese Cheerleading Association. Through all, we might have 100,000 athletes competing throughout the whole year. But out of all those national championships, we only have about 10,000 for one national championships. Here you guys have I guess, 20,000. That's huge. That's super huge.
Something that provides us an opportunity to not only dance against some of the best in the country, but the best in the world. You know, AASCF's dancers and the dancers that I guess compete in this circuit are placing with the best in the world. So for us, it's huge to be able to come into state and I guess achieve that.
The growth of cheerleading and dance in Australia has been astronomical. It's actually crazy how quick and how fast that has grown, and to the size, the numbers that it's grown to. It's within the all-star market, it's probably comparable to America because of the population of the general population here, 25 million or so, and the number of cheerleaders. is very comparable to the number of cheerleaders that you have in America with the large population of Americans you have. But more impressive than the growth in the numbers is the growth in the talent. Like I've been coming here roughly about 15 years. My first year here, this whole big nationals was in one gym, and now it's in a convention center with 5 different halls going on at the same time for 3 different days. That's the numbers portion of it, so that's amazing. But the talent level is what's more amazing to me. The fact that 15 years ago you had 1 or 2 teams that were pretty much elite, and now you have team after team after team that are on a world competitive level.
It took me a lot of years of making or educating people to understand that no, this is a sport, this is a legitimate sport. Since the onset, when we had a couple of hundred cheerleaders, we've basically grown to, we have around 60, 70,000 cheerleaders through our championships this season. We run about 21 championships across the country. So the growth within the championships is quite extensive. I think it's become a little bit of a choice for dancers as well, because it is such an encompassing championship, and you learn so much from the scoring system because it's based on educating the coaches and educating the athletes. So the growth all round just continues. We're experiencing probably about 15 to 20% growth every year, and every year we think it's going to slow down, and it's not. So I think it's here to stay, and I think it's only going to get a lot bigger.
To be successful in this kind of circuit, you need to teach your entire team how to do everything. You can't get away with having a few dancers do one thing and the rest of your dancers not. So it forces your club to be better. It forces, everybody to be better, because you have to teach everyone everything, and that raises the standard.
I'm actually the mother of one of the owners of the dance studio, so I play the music, so lots of running around and lots of stress and pressure. All Star's great. We've been involved for 11 years now, and I've seen the children grow from very young children to adults. They're now driving, which is a bit scary. We've seen them develop the teamwork, the skills, the development, the communication, the dedication, the commitment. It teaches them commitment. You commit to something, you stick to it. They learn to take instruction, they learn to take correction, they learn how to handle the stress and the pressure of having to perform, that they are going to be nervous, so what can they do to cope with that? And that's something that we do talk to parents about and get them to talk to their children about, so that's giving them strategies that they'll use later in life.
Is it hard on a parent to have a child that's doing this?
No comment, yeah, it is.
What sort of stuff is involved as a parent?
Lots of training, money obviously, time off work, time off school, so yeah, it's pretty taxing, but it's worth it.
Our parents work together, and
they're actually here.
They're actually here watching, supporting today. My mum worked at the school, and Jamie's mum Sandy was like, my daughter's starting a dance studio, and I was like, yep, I'm going to start, and then that's kind of how it happened.
Why should others participate with All Star Cheer and Dance?
I think it's good exercise, it's good teamwork, good camaraderie. I think the kids love it, the confidence they bring out of it's awesome, so yeah, I'd recommend it to any kid.
How important is AASCF and its nationals to you?
Well, it's the grand final of the year, isn't it? So it's always good, and when you get a kid who pulls a national championship, it's even better. So yeah, that's great. Very proud.
The highest scoring senior level 1 division team.
think it's such a great place for like young, like females and also males, of course, to start to learn so many skills that they're going to need for the rest of their life. So it's such a fun, like fast-paced sport. So it, you know, keeps everyone interested, but it does require a lot, even no matter what level you're at. So I think it's teaching them so many important skills for life, like time management and all that kind of thing. But also because it's so heavily team-oriented, they learn that sometimes you have to do, you know, what's best for the team. You're not always going to get exactly what you want in life. And I think it's so important for people to learn that now before all of a sudden they're in the real world and facing all this disappointment because they're not always getting exactly what they want.
Some of the teams here, they go from 5 to 32, so you really have to learn some people coping skills while you're doing your fitness if you're on a team of 32 people. And because we have spots for everybody, no matter how big and small or tall everybody is, they just they get to fit in and do their thing.
I'm Jay Kipkiss, I'm 20, sorry, and I'm a back spot.
Hi, I'm Alexandra Bravo-Andrade. I'm 15 and I'm a base and a back spot.
Hi, I'm Alyssa Klapwick. I'm 14 and I'm a back spot.
How many hours a week do you guys train?
We're at the gym a lot, so it's not just training, we're also all coaches.
Coaching.
So training ourselves for our teams, we're probably about, I'd say 6 to 10 hours a week. More if we're doing tumbling classes, extra classes throughout the week. It really depends on what our schedule we have picked to train and what we want to do.
I'd say about the same.
Yeah,
the closer we get to nationals, the more training we have to attend, but yeah, about 6 to 10 hours a week.
I guess it teaches our youth dancers a lot of qualities that are more than dance. It teaches them about commitment, it teaches them about time management, you know, it teaches them resilience, it teaches them, you know, respect for all. It teaches them so much. So for us, and my husband and I always say this within our studio, it's more than just the dance, and that's an environment that AASCF have created, and which is why it is our favourite competition.
I'm Serena and I'm 16. I'm the captain of this cheerleading team.
How many hours a week do you all train?
We train like 2 hours per day and it's like 10 hours per week. I think it's the teamwork that I enjoyed very much. The teamwork, and we paid our efforts in this performance, and it worked so well, and we enjoyed our, you know, the time we spent together.
This coming to AASCF Nationals is one of the only things that my whole club looks forward to. On top of the fact that we do get to come here and we have to be our best because we're competing against the best. I'm really fortunate that I've been here since the beginning, so I have a very good relationship with a lot of other clubs, and that's trickled down to my kids. So a lot of my kids are really good friends with all of the athletes from all the other clubs, so it's more of like a big family reunion coming here. It's one of my favorite parts of the year.
I think it's the team sport that brings with it, the connection. You make so many bonds, and obviously spending so many hours a week together really brings everyone together and creates a really strong bond that you'll never forget.
I think that's all. It's what it's all about. You know, with today's society, there's so much, ugly stuff in the world. To be able to come and do something so fun and so lovely and learn so many life lessons, it's just the best place with people that you love and adore, and your dance friends are your best friends. So.